Moving to Seattle feels like stepping into a dream. Lush green everywhere. The smell of espresso in the air, weekend hikes just an hour away. But beneath that postcard image are some things that'll catch you totally off guard. The Seattle freeze. It's real. But there's a reason behind it that no one explains. The weather is not the rain, it's the light or the lack of it. And that budget you plan, let's just say Seattle has a few surprise expenses that don't show up in your moving checklist. It's not about whether Seattle is a good move. It's about knowing what to expect so you can actually love living here. And there's one thing I'd do totally differently if I had a chance to do it all over again. I still remember landing in Seattle for the first time. Military transfer, brand new city, not a clue of where to live, and definitely not prepared for what my first November would feel like. And now I help people navigate that same move every single day. Whether you're relocating for work, lifestyle, or chasing a change of pace, Seattle can be incredible if you understand what you're walking into. I am Sheila Duncan, a licensed real estate broker in both Washington and Georgia. While I have you, you can reach out with information on the screen or also down in the description. If you are thinking about moving to the Seattle area and have any questions, and as someone who relocated here myself, I know what it's like to search for answers and only find the same 10 blogs about Pike's Place Market and the rain. That's why we're digging deep today into things locals know, but newcomers usually find out the hard way. Like why some people feel isolated at first and how to shift that fast. What hidden costs sneak up into your monthly budget. And the one decision I regret most from my first year in Seattle, if you are making the move or even thinking about it, this is the kind of insight that'll change how you plan everything that comes next. One of the most unexpected parts of moving to Seattle has nothing to do with real estate, traffic, or the weather. It's about how people connect. The Seattle freeze is a phrase you'll hear often, but it's not always explained well. It's not that people are rude. They're not. In fact, they're incredibly polite. They'll hold the door open for you. They'll smile in passing. They'll even give you space. But that's just it. Space is sacred here. Small talk isn't given. Invitations aren't immediate. And if you come from a culture where community forms quickly, this slow burn approach to connection can feel confusing, even isolating. When I first moved here, I went out of my way to meet neighbors, chat at dog parks, be warm and open. Nothing landed. It felt like people were always a few feet away socially, no matter how close we stood. Over time, I learned this city operates on a different rhythm. Relationships tend to form through consistency. See the same faces at the gym or on the trail? Over time, those familiar nods turn into conversation. Events help, volunteering helps, having a dog definitely helps. But it all requires intentional effort. This isn't a city of spontaneous drop-ins or fast friendships. That is not a flaw. It's just a different pace. It's incredibly grounding once you stop trying to fight it. The good news is when you do make those connections, they run deep. Seattle's friendship may start slow, but they're loyal. People show up for each other here in a quiet, dependable way. There's less noise, but more substance. This insight isn't meant to scare anyone off. It's meant to prepare you, because when expectations shift, experiences shift, extroverts often need to be more proactive here. Introverts tend to thrive. And if you're relocating from some fast-paced, deeply communal, give yourself grace. You're not doing it wrong. You're just doing it in Seattle. Most people moving here aren't just looking for a house. They're looking for a sense of belonging. And understanding this on a social stance can change how quickly that happens. Now that the people part is clear, it's time to address the next reality, one that affects your energy, your mood, and your routine more than anything else. Ask anyone about Seattle weather and you'll hear the same response. It rains a lot. But that's not the full story. It's not the amount of rain. It's the absence of light that shifts your light in ways no one warns you about. What people don't realize is how long the gray lingers. Not just for a week or two, but for months. From late October through early April, the sky often blends in with the pavement. There are days you'll forget what shadows look like, and that has an impact physically, emotionally, and mentally. The Pacific Northwest has some of the highest rates of seasonal affective disorder in the country. It's not a weakness, it's just a mood swing. It's a chemical response to the lack of light. You may feel more tired, less social, less motivated. That sunny, productive version of yourself, you'll need to plan and keep it alive. Sun lamps aren't just trendy, they're necessary for a lot of people. So are midwinter weekend getaways to Arizona, Southern California, little things like that. Warm lighting in the home, lighter paint colors, regular movement, anything that reminds your body that the world is still turning, even when the sky otherwise is not. It's important to know this isn't about fear, it's about preparation, because when you do prepare, the seasons here become magical in their own way. Spring is euphoric. The first burst of sun in April will make people dance in the streets, literally. Parks fill up, neighborhoods bloom. It's like the whole city exhales. Summer is next level. Long days, cool evenings, golden hour boat rides, and views that feel like they belong in a travel magazine. If you're an outdoorsy person, Seattle summers will ruin every other city for you. But to appreciate that, you have to get through the gray, and that starts with understanding how it works, how to adapt. This isn't about whether you can handle the weather, it's about how you'll shape your life around it so it doesn't shape you. And while this is the city of rain, it's also a city of reinvention, which brings up the question most people ask themselves: what will you do differently if you could move here all over again? It's nothing like hindsight when it comes to relocation. You only know what questions to ask after you've already made the move. If I could start my Seattle journey over, I wouldn't change the fact that I came, but I'd absolutely change how I approached it. For one, I chased the view. Waterfront listings, skyline condos, and the wow factor that looked amazing on photos, but I didn't realize how that decision would shape the rhythm of my life. Longer commutes, fewer conveniences, in a neighborhood that felt more like a destination than a community. Today, I choose function over fantasy, proximity to what matters, a grocery store nearby, places I'd actually want to walk to, and a neighborhood that matches how I live, not just what I imagine. I'd also slow down, not the decision to buy, but the pressure to get everything perfect on day one. The truth is, Seattle has layers. Each neighborhood has its own pulse, and the one that looks good on the map might feel completely different once you're living there. A lot of people start out in one area and realize their needs shift fast. Commute time, community vibe, even how the streets feel in the winter. All of that plays in whether a home really works for your life. That's why I tell my clients, don't just shop for a house, learn the lifestyle that comes with it. Walk the block, ask about the traffic, find the coffee shops, see how it feels when it rains for 5 days straight. And the last thing I'd do differently, I'd ask for help sooner. When I moved here, I thought I had to figure everything out on my own. But working with someone who actually understands the local landscape, someone who's made the move and knows the blind spots, saves you time, money, and a whole lot of guessing. You're not just buying a home in Seattle, you're building a new life in the Pacific Northwest. And knowing how to match that home with that lifestyle, that's what creates a long-term happiness. Now let's talk about where that actually plays out, the city versus the suburbs, and the surprising trade-offs that most people don't even see coming. On paper, the difference between living in the city versus the suburbs sounds simple. Shorter commutes versus more space, walkability versus quieter streets. But the reality of how it feels to live in each environment from day to day, that's where most people get blindsided. In Seattle, city living means more than just proximity to downtown. You're paying for access to tech jobs, boutique shops, coffee shops, nightlife, and views. But what comes with that is density. Parking gets tight, traffic builds fast, and depending on the building, peace seems like something that is optional. Now, if you love being able to walk out your door and have everything within a few blocks, city life checks all of the boxes. But not every part of Seattle offers that lifestyle, and price doesn't always equal convenience. Suburbs like Renton, Federal Way, and University Place offers a completely different pace. More square footage, larger lots, quieter evenings, but they also come with trade-offs. Longer commutes, fewer local hangouts, and depending on where you land, a car is a must. You have to have a car if you live in some of those suburbs. But in the city, everything is in walking distance. What catches people off guard is how those choices play out over time. At first, city life feels exciting, high energy, until your parking garage fee is half a car payment, and getting to Costco feels like a mission. On the other side, suburban life might seem peaceful until you're spending hours in traffic or missing the sense of a nearby community you didn't even know you needed. None of this means one is better than the other, but it does mean you have to match your location with your rhythm. Love a quiet morning, a fenced yard for your dog, and room to host your family? Suburbs might be your thing. If you prefer walking to a yoga class, a 10-minute ride share to work, and that city buzz, you might want to stay closer in. The goal isn't just to buy a house, it's to create a life that works the way you move, the things you value, the routine you want to build. The easiest way to narrow it down, look at your week, where you work, what you do on the weekends, how you handle stress. That will tell you exactly where you thrive. What that weekly routine won't tell you, though, are the hidden costs that add up fast that most newcomers never see coming. It's easy to plan for a mortgage, a down payment, or even a home inspection, but the costs that really catch people off guard, they show up after you've already unpacked. Seattle has a way of introducing expenses that don't make it into your relocation checklist. First up, car tabs. In King and Pierce counties, vehicle registration fees are higher than most cities, especially for newer models. A single car can run several $100s a year. And if you're commuting into the city, don't forget about those toll roads like the 520 bridge or the I-405 express lanes. Those charges add up fast if you're crossing over water regularly. Then there's parking. In many neighborhoods, street parking is limited or even restricted, and monthly garage fees can rival a small car payment. Even suburban commuters sometimes pay for downtown parking if they work in the city. Utilities here can surprise people, especially in older homes. With all the moisture in the air, heating systems run longer than expected. Many homes rely on electric baseboards or less efficient oil heat. Add in winter lighting needs and your energy bill can spike. Home maintenance is another factor most people underestimate. This isn't just about mowing a lawn, it's about moss control, drainage issues, and staying ahead of water damage. In a place where it rains 150 plus days a year, keeping your property dry is a full-time mindset. And if you have kids or pets, you're likely budgeting for daycare, after-school programs, or doggy daycare. And many of those wait lists start months in advance that will hit your wallet hard. Even lifestyle expenses shift. You'll want quality rain gear, a gym membership that keeps you active when it's dark by 4 p.m., travel escapes in the winter to recharge. These aren't luxuries, they're survival strategies. None of this is meant to scare you. It's meant to help you plan like a local, so that first year doesn't feel like financial whiplash. And when you plan for it, everything feels easier. You're not just reacting, you're building your life here with your eyes wide open. Once you understand the cost, the final question becomes the most important. Is Seattle worth it in 2025? And what does starting fresh here really mean? Seattle isn't for everyone. The weather, the pace, the quirks, they test people in different ways. But for the right person, this city offers something rare. You get 4 seasons without extremes, a tech-driven economy without losing access to nature, and a lifestyle that rewards intentional living. Whether that means carving out your own community, exploring new routines, or finally owning a home that fits the way you want to live. What makes the difference is having the right guide, someone who understands what it's like to move here from scratch and how to help you skip the guesswork and land exactly where you're meant to be. If that's where you're headed, My number is on the screen and in the description. Call or text anytime. I'm here to help. And if you're still learning about what it is really like to live here, check out the other videos on this channel. There's a lot more to discover.